So here we are checking out the flight controls in action. We're going to repeat an approach I featured in a previous video. This is the landing on top of the dam at Lake Matthews. We're in the Cessna 152. We're going to try a couple of different aircraft, but this is quite a balanced test of a relatively straightforward approach, but one that requires accuracy and finesse in the touchdown, and that's because we've got a narrow runway and we've got a variable surface, if you like. So it's kind of a relatively intact surface but with a bit of roughness, so we're going to get thrown around a little bit on touchdown, so we need to make it as gentle as possible, essentially. So that's the brief. I'm doing it in the Cessna 152 because we've it's a docile aircraft essentially, but also we've got very good view. You know, we could have used the Cessna 172, but the 152's got a better view, so we're going to do that. So we're coming in, we're trimmed for about 70. So we're on base leg here. We're going to put down flaps 20, probably a little bit higher than we need to be, but that's okay. We've got quite a long touchdown area. Now we've got to watch the speed carefully here. We're going around about 60 knots. Probably give it a little bit of throttle to pick it up. We don't descent rate to be too high. So we're finding it easy to get lined up. The aileron action's no problem, but it's the hold off right now which is doable, but it's kind of a strenuous effort is required to do that. So we're going to go around and do that a couple of times more. Get the flaps in. I'm going to trim it forward a little bit more because that speed was a little bit low on the approach. So again, what you would have seen there, we had very little problem lining up laterally. You know, the aileron control is very light, no problem at all with that. Elevator control is the issue here. I mean, we've got, what I'm doing there is I'm rocking it around that central kind of parking position, if you like. I don't want to call it a detent, it's not really that. It's not exactly a notch, but it feels like, you know, about, I don't know, an inch or a couple of centimetres of travel, where it's definitely in some kind of, almost like a gate before the bungees start to restrict the movements. We came in a little bit, we're going to be very long here, but that's fine. Came in a little bit too tight. And so in the flare we're going to be needing to rock it out of that parking position substantially, particularly in the rearward direction. I'm on idle now with power at 60 knots. We need to start rounding out now. So again, we're going in and out of that centre position. I mean, that's not bad, not a bad effort there. Oops, there's that rough ground. So we'll try that one more time, I think, in this aircraft. We'll try and give ourselves a bit more space this time. What's the height? Because we've got, I don't know what exactly the wind conditions are at the minute. I'm on live weather, but this is Southern California after all, and the wind conditions seem well, I mean, there's no detectable wind or discernible wind as far as I can tell. Okay, so we're going to go across that road, turn it in, go to idle mount now, go to flaps 20. Went a bit too far out that time. Okay, we don't want to get too slow. So 65, 70. Go to idle now. That was okay. I mean that I didn't judge that one particularly well. Let's see if we can get one more hop before we get to the end of this dam. Alright, we're back to approach speed now, so we'll go to idle. Start that flare right about now, but judging it very carefully. And again, we're going in and out of that central position, just trying to hold it off. We're getting, well, I mean, it wasn't too bad, but definitely getting some porpoise in there. It's just really hard to stop it doing that, given how strenuous this, we're running out of dam here, how strenuous this pitch action is. Try a couple more. Okay, so flaps 20. Light's good. Speed's a bit low there. In through that gap in the trees, so we're doing about 60. $55. Going to idle now, and now we're beginning to hold off just gently. See, we're still porpoising there. Hard to make those, that's just the roughness of the ground. It's really hard to make those subtle changes quickly, which is what we need to be doing to get a consistent, controlled, smooth touchdown. Okay, let's try again. Idle, holding it off. Drifted over a little bit there. See, we're just doing that ballooning and then porpoising. It's almost impossible to do it without getting that. Good. Okay, so let's try that in a different aircraft. We're in the Cessna 172 this time. Maybe we'll try the approach from this end, just because this is where we are. I'm trying to get it trimmed for about 70. No flaps. So let's see. We'll see if we can turn it in from here. If not, we'll go to the other end. And of course I'm in a turn, I'm trying to hold back on the yoke. Again, I'm having to do that quite strenuously, but also avoid over controlling. Right, so I'm going to go to 2 notches of flaps right here. That's going to change the trim, of course. Let's see where we end up. Trim, I've got about 60 knots, which is okay. I've got to idle now. Again, got that hold off. Oh, I bounced it there. Let's see if we can get another one in before the end. Okay, power off again. Trying to hold it off. Okay, well that didn't end too well. Get the flaps out. Let's try and get this one a little bit more sensitively down on the ground. Okay, 65. Coming off the power now, we're on idle. And we're starting that flare. Again, we need to keep it landing gear malfunction. So that signals that we did something a little bit too aggressive there. So very difficult to control that. Let's go back to base and we'll try on a regular runway. Again, I don't know what the wind is, but it seems like we don't have too much of that to worry about. So I'm trimmed, I'm not doing anything with the yoke. Okay, now I'm starting to think about the flare. We're on idle, pulling back, trying to... Okay, well that wasn't so great. Let's just try that again. Power's going to idle right about now. Flare. Ah, God. Power's going to idle right now. Starting that flare. Trying to hold it off. Going a bit faster this time. Power's at idle now. 70 knots. Let's land a little bit long. Just keep it in that flare. Holding it off. It's just almost impossible to make those subtle, rapid changes that you need. Okay, different aircraft this time. We're going to try it in the Champion Scout. To idle now. Once again we want that hold off, bit of a bounce there. We'll see if we get another attempt there. And then we'll go to idle right now. Just try and hold it off. That wasn't too bad. But again, it's tough to do that. it is possible. It is possible. Okay, we're going to throw in some interference now by doing some crosswind operations. We're at Queenstown Airport just because it's got a nice long wide runway. We've got a 15 knot crosswind. Crosswind from the left this time, we're needing right rudder to keep straight. Get it up there. Once we've got a bit of speed, go down the next batch of flaps, come off the power. Right, so we're going to kick it straight with the rudder, left aileron, a little bit of power, try and bring it down onto one wheel. We're still getting that porpoising though. I mean, we've got control, but it's really hard to keep control. Alright, we'll try now. Power off, left rudder, right aileron, little bit of power. Trying to put it down on one wheel. I don't know, I'm not sure we got it at all there. We're in the crab. Power off, kicking it straight with the right rudder, left aileron, keeping the power off this time. So we've got to do more work with that elevator. Well, we kind of got it there, that wasn't too bad. Power off. Yeah, I mean, doable, but you've got to be Arnie Schwarzenegger. So switching aircraft, we're in the Cessna 172 again. So 2 notches of flaps, going to idle now, kick it straight, aileron down, ooh. Okay. Let's just recalibrate our instincts. Right, so there's the crab. We're not at idle, we're going to keep a little bit of power on. Okay, maybe not that much power. Again, just, you know, trying to do those subtle changes. We can't do it quickly enough to keep the thing in the flare without porpoising. Because we're flying wing down in the flare, that porpoising is not just about the altitude. This is, you know, also introduces a sideways component, which is why it's so hard to, and that's more pronounced in this 172 than it was in the little 152. Maybe that's a realism. So just as another experiment, we'll do a quick, very sketchy trip around the block. This is Goheen, and we're just going to take it about it round. We're not looking for finesse here, we're looking for controllability, grass runway, and so, as I say, a very sketchy circuit. And we're doing it in the Champion Scout because it's a much nippier aircraft than any of the Cessnas, and why not? Weather's okay out of Goheen. Got plenty of power in this aircraft, so we don't want to climb on full power. We're going up like a rocket. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to try and fly a reasonably controlled circuit. So 2/4 the crosswind, So we're going to sustain that climb, which is about 600 or 700 feet per minute. Trimming forward a little bit, that's probably high enough actually, so let's level out kind of here. So now we want to try and stay more or less straight and level, including in the turns. So we're holding back here, not holding back enough, we're descending a little bit, maybe a bit more power. So 1.5 is the downwind, overshot that slightly. Kind of hard to see the strip from the downwind. So we've trimmed for about 75 knots, not having to do too much with the yoke. I didn't check the wind, but I don't think there's too much of a wind factor here. So we go out just to the river, then we're going to turn it in. Again, for now we really want to be maintaining that height in the turn. Again, it's kind of hard to do that with this very stiff pitch action. Now we're going to come off the power, we're at idle. We're going to, oh, did we still have the flaps down? I think we probably did actually. Okay, we've got whatever flaps we need. Let's do a turn in from here. And we don't want to drop too quickly. Overshot just very slightly there, but we're fine. So let's see how well we can put it down on the grass. Let's try and land reasonably short. On idle right now, well, just about, there we go. So holding it off, right, do a great job. Let's go around again. Put the flaps in this time. Slightly better control of the climb that time, and also the downwind is a little closer, 1.5. This is high enough. I think we'll stick at this height. So there's the river. Dropping a bit there. That's just the trim. We'll go onto the base leg without hopefully messing our height up too much. Zero 6. Come off the power. We're going to slow down. Let's turn it in. Try not to overshoot this time. further out that time. We've got more of an opportunity to set up. I did overshoot still. Maybe there's more of a wind than I thought there was. I put my flaps down. Idle now. Right, try and hold it off a little bit better this time. That was a credible landing, I think. Alright, as a final experiment, this is my notional home field, the London Gliding Club at Dunstable Downs, on a fairly blustery day. So we're not going to fly even a circuit here, we're just going to swing it around without getting too high. Flaps. I don't think you would actually do this in real life. Right, let's see if we can put it down gently in a reasonable distance. Power to idle. Speed's dropping off quickly, so we need quite an assertive flare here. Hold it. Flying up to balloon. That's not too bad. Don't think we even bounced there.